Hey guys, welcome to Home Sweet Homeschool. My name is Ashley and I'm a homeschooling mom to one. And today I'm participating in a collab that was created by Jessica at Field's Full House called How to Homeschool Kids of Multiple Ages. And you're probably thinking, how in the world does a mom to one know what it's like homeschooling kids of multiple ages? Well, here's the thing. I taught public school for 13 years. I've taught pre-K, kindergarten, and first grade. And even in those classrooms, your age range of kids really varies. You could have, very new 5-year-olds all the way up to 7-year-olds in kindergarten. I also work at a co-op where I teach science and history to 2nd through 5th grade. And so I know the struggle of having to find a lesson that will work for all age ranges. It's really hard and it can be really tiring. And what ends up happening is you're being pulled from place to place because there's only one of you and a bunch of other kids. And so you're having to split your time between all those kids and you're hoping that you're reaching each of them. So I do know what it's like, even though I don't have to do it in my own home. I've been there and I know how it is to find things that work for everyone. But I think I may have a solution if you're struggling, if you're exhausted and you're struggling. So this is something that I really love and I personally think is great. And I wanted to share it with you. And if you've watched any of my videos on my channel before, you know that we just started using the Gather Round Homeschool curriculum. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about it first and how it may help you in your home, make it easier for you to homeschool your kids that are different ages. So Gather Round Homeschool is created by Rebecca Spooner of Homeschool Own. She is making 10 units a year for 4 years, so that is a ton of units. The units have 20 lessons each, and they cover everything but math. So the only thing you would have to add to this curriculum is math. So today I'm just going to share with you the units that are out, and I'm going to show you what each of the levels look like, and I'm going to tell you how you can get a free sample to look at yourself. So far she's came out with North American birds, she's came out with Asia, and she's came out with space. And that's what you see right here. Now these two are just the upper elementary notebooks. So let me explain how this works. If you'll go to gatherroundhomeschool.com, you will find pricing, you will find the ways to have it printed, or you can download digitally, which is what I do. So really whatever works for your family. If it's easier for you to order and her print them for you, that can be done, or you can buy the digital copy and you can print them yourself. So definitely check out that website because that's where you're going to find out all the units that she's planning on making this year, what the prices are, and how you can go about having them printed, or you can print them yourself. So definitely go check out gatherroundhomeschool.com. Her intention when she was making these units was that you get all your kids from pre-K to high school all together on the couch, in the floor, at the table, whatever works for you. You're going to read to them from the teacher's guide. It's the same for all of them. You read to them from the teacher's guide, and then you pass out their individual notebooks. So like for my son, this is his upper elementary notebook for Asia. This is what we're about to start, and this is what he'll work on after we read. Same goes for space. I've already had it printed, and this is his notebook. So you read from the teacher's guide, and then you pass out each kid's notebook. So let me show you what it would look like if you were doing space with your kids. Now on a previous video, I included a walkthrough of the upper elementary space notebook, and I also at the very end of that video showed a clip of what the teacher guide looks like because I put it on my iPad. You can print it off, or you can do it on your iPad or your TV, whichever you'd like to do, whatever works best for your family. So if you want to see that, check out my space video from Gather Round Homeschool because it will show you what the teacher's guide looks like. So this is what would happen. You sit all your kids down from preschool through high school, you read to them from the teacher's guide, and then everybody gets a notebook. Now what I'm about to show you is something you can go get for yourself right now at gatherroundhomeschool.com. If you go there right now, you can sign up for a sample lesson from the space unit, and when you get sent that email, you get Lesson 9 of space from pre-reader through high school. So it'll really give you an idea of what it looks like. So I'm going to show you right now, and if it interests you, definitely go to her website and check it out. You can get a free sample of each of those units. North American birds, Asia, and space. So definitely go check it out so that you can have something in your hands to look at. So let's say we just read the lesson 9 in the teacher's guide, and you have a pre-reader. This is what the pre-reader one is going to look like. So let me make sure that you can see this pretty good. We're going to keep it right there. So the pre-reader, you can tell that your child's going to be working on K. What letter is it? It's an uppercase K. Lowercase k, you're going to practice writing it. You're going to say the sounds, and it has the pictures. So let's look at language arts for the early reader. So the step up from knowing letters and sounds, being able to read some words. Here's your early reader, and they're going to go straight into science. So you gave your early reader their science. Here's your early elementary. So now they're going to write, draw, or dictate what they remember about asteroids, comets, and meteors. Upper elementary, which is where my son is, so it looks a little bit different for each of them. This is middle schools. They're actually going to have to cite their sources of where they got their information. And then here's the high school. So they're going to talk about what is an asteroid, what is a comet, what's a meteor, impact of each of these on Earth, and their sources. So that way you can see what was expected out of science for all of those. Now what I think I'm going to do is just show you each of the sheets for the different levels. So we're going to start with pre-reader. So for lesson 9, this is what your pre-reader would be doing after you've done the read aloud. So you have another language arts focus where they're doing the sight word 3. And in the appendix of the pre-reader, you're going to find sight word cards. So you'll cut those out. Tells you exactly what to say. They're going to trace. They're going to circle groups of 3. Then they're going to find the words that start with a K sound and color the pictures. And make sure to repeat the K sound each time you color. And then for their art, they're just going to color the meteorites. Pretty simple, right? So that's something for even your earliest learners if you want to keep them busy so that you can work with your other kids and they want to feel like they're doing school. They have that. Okay, this is the early reader. Here's your early reader. Here's their science that I already have shown you. Then here's the social studies focus. And I pointed this out in my other video. This says same page alert. So if you're doing this with multiple kids, you can read this to all of them at the same time and then work on this page together because it's the same. The reading part is the same. So you would read it to all of them. Their questions might look different. So here's the early reader questions. This is about the U.S. Congress. Then you have copywork and spelling, and it may be hard to pick up, but they will trace their copywork in the early reader. And then it says our spelling words this week are 2, 2, and 2, so it talks about homophones. Then you have science, and in lesson 9, it's the same page for all of them, but again, for their level, it looks a little bit different. That's where the differentiation comes in, and that's how this curriculum is able to work for so many age ranges. So you will read this, and then what they have to do will be a little different. Then for art, for this age group, you practice techniques that comic book artists use to make comic books. And so you work on personification and speech bubbles. So it tells what personification is and how to do speech bubbles. So that's what they're doing right here. Okay, so that was early reader. Now let's look at early elementary. And she does have some explanations on her website about what age ranges that looks like for you. But if you download the sample, you can really decide where you want to put your child. So here's the science that I've already shown you. Here's that same page where the reading is the same, but the questions are different. They're not multiple choice here. Copywork is different here. They have the lines, but they have to write it themselves. And then this is a little different. And then here's their science, and if you'll notice, all of this was labeled in the last one, but in this one, they're going to have to do some labeling. And then the art's the same, and then it has the same information up here at the top. Okay? Now for the upper elementary, this is where my son is. He is a 5th grader. and this has really worked well for him. So here's his science page. Again, you would be reading the same thing. And then on this one, his choice of questions are different too, and what he has to do would be different, or what your child would have to do would be a little different. And then as you can see, the lines have changed. They're just regular writing lines, and this is where they're getting the spelling words from, the two, and two. So this is talking about the different meanings. And then here's the science, the same page alert, and now they're having to label all of the plant cell. So it does look different. It's a little bit harder. You know, she does a great job of, you know, making it for each level. And then here's their art. Okay. Now for middle school, if you're worried about your middle schoolers, is it going to be enough? Let's look and see. So this is what it looks like for middle school. They're learning how to cite their sources. And again, look at how it upped the ante. It's like, hey, upper elementary is doing this, but you're a middle schooler. I think you can work just a little bit harder. You can dig for that information. So it looks a little different. You got the House of Representatives, you've got the Senate. So encouraging them to look for those answers. Do some research to learn more about the Congress. And then look at their copywork page. They have to go to their own Bible and find the Bible verse that tells them what to find, read it out loud, think about the words and what it means, and copy it on the lines below. And then they are going to highlight any words or punctuation that would be tricky. So they're not practicing the two, and two like the other readers were. And then look at their science. So this says, what do comets and cells have in common? They both have a nucleus. So it talks about that. It talks about what are cells. It says to research the parts of cells and label the animal cell below. So it's really encouraging these kids to learn how to find their answers, how to do that research. When we want to know something, how do we find it out? That's important. And then here is their art. Now for high school. So you're not being pulled in 1,000 directions. Everybody has their little notebook, even your high schooler. Your high schooler is going to be able to sit and do the same thing, or go work in their room or wherever they want to work. So here's their science that we've already looked at. This is their page, and if you'll notice, there are some more questions. They're like, go and research, use the box below to kind of help guide you, or if you get stuck, these are some things that you can look up. And then you write your findings in a paragraph on another sheet of paper. So it's like, go do your research and present it in a paper. They're encouraged to do the same thing, to go and find that Bible verse, write it down, and be intentional about how you spell, and make sure you've got everything spelled right. And then look at their science. They give them a little bit of information, but it tells them to research the difference between plant and animal cells, label the cells below, and then write about the differences and similarities between them at the bottom of the page. So a little different. And then here is their art. And then on this one, they have an optional extension. Comics are still used today to give political messages through humor. Look up political cartoons and try to understand what they mean. On a separate sheet of paper, see if you can make one about the space race to the moon. So it's taking that art that your other kids have worked on and just giving them a little bit of a challenge because they are high schoolers. So these were all of the Lesson 9 notebooks for all the different levels, okay? And like I said, this is something that you can go and get right now. So if you like what you saw and you're thinking, hey, I need some help. I am run ragged. I am tired of being pulled from kid to kid. I don't feel like I'm giving each kid enough attention. I need something that's going to bring us together. Well, I think Gather Round Homeschool is going to be the right thing for you. And I definitely would love it if you would check it out. This is not sponsored. This is something I use in my house, and I truly love it. It has changed my homeschool for the better. My son actually looks forward to doing school every day. He says this doesn't stress him out like all the other curriculums. So I would love it if you'd at least go check it out and give it a try. So it is gatherroundhomeschool.com. You can also go to Facebook and join the Gather Round Homeschool community. Rebecca is super active in there, and she is always willing to answer questions. And there's tons of other support from other mamas that are doing the same thing with their family. So if you have any more questions or comments about it, please leave them below. I would love to help you out. and definitely go check it out. Also, don't forget to watch the other moms in the collab because they're going to share with you some other ways to work with kids of multiple ages. So thanks so much for watching this video. I hope it was helpful. Please like and subscribe and share with anyone that you know who's looking for some help with some curriculum. Thanks for watching.